Listen to Khiaar Voice Radio. We're coming your way live. I'm telling ya, Krosfyah rocks. Wet me. We're cooling down. We haven't even gotten heated up yet. Keep us on a lot. This is In The Zone Magazine coming your way live.
That's right.
Listen to Khiaar Voice Radio. Telling ya, we've got a great show for you tonight. We've got 3 co-hosts. This is going to be great. Now, In The Zone Magazine, you know, of course, we talk about things that are happening, bringing people up to speed on a lot of different things. Khaair has been global hopping. He's a part of the Caribbean Speakers Bureau, and also a very cool friend, doing a lot of wonderful things in New York and globally. You still global hopping? Did you jump in the cab from parasailing or parachuting down? What were you doing? I don't know.
I just hopped the cab from Manhattan to here.
All right. And we've got Neesa. Neesa, very cool. First time here at Khiaar Voice Radio co-hosting. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Okay, and Yvette, the veteran who's being very quiet right there. You're not cooking or anything, are you, Yvette?
Pardon?
You're not cooking or anything, are you?
No, not no.
Oh, okay. So let's start out. Khaair, what's going on with you? You're doing a lot of stuff in New York with the youth, and you're in college. Tell us what's happening.
Well, lately I just actually founded my nonprofit organization called The Voice of the Youth Changes Everything. So now that's up and running, and we're going to be doing a lot across the city in regards to technology, education, politics, and entrepreneurship for young people, because I believe those are like the 4 key things to in the 21st century in order to change your community, to change yourself, and to change your world. So that's what I'm focused on now. I'm also just got on an advisory board with the Center for Court Innovation, an organization working to try to get a template on police and youth relations, and how can each city across the United States, what programs should they do to help young people get more involved with police officers and police officers to learn more about young people. So that's what I've been focused on now. And of course, yeah, you just said I'm in school. I actually just came from there, so
and Yvette,
doing all that.
And Yvette, you thought I was busy, huh?
Yes, I thought so.
Neesa, tell us a little bit what's happening with you.
We're pretty much just enjoying the evening here. I'm not sure with persons who might be very familiar with our company, and I actually work for a small company by the name of Cargo Solutions. It's actually under the umbrella of Foster and its crew services, which that name is pretty much more widespread as opposed to Cargo Solutions. So as I said, we're pretty much into freight and shipping and stuff here from Barbados, and pretty much some stuff coming down from Miami, coming down to Barbados and stuff. So that's pretty much what we're into at this stage.
You see that? Khaair, any entrepreneur that wants to ship products to Barbados can use this freight company.
Definitely.
Yvette,
Hi.
what's going on?
I'm here. I'm cool. Just waiting for the next few hours before we go vote.
Well, you know what's interesting is that Khaair is very heavily into politics. I think he's going to be like, when are you going to run for mayor? Like in 4 years?
I don't know. Sooner than later. Not this election. This election, I'll just be voting like everyone else.
Okay, because you know there are a lot of things going on in New York City, and Khaair is very familiar with a lot of Caribbean community, a lot of Caribbean youth and stuff. And so you've been speaking at John Jay and a lot of different locations and stuff like that. You've been global hopping. So what's on your agenda for the next 90 days besides what you just said?
I'm agenda for 96 days. I'm actually planning an event I want to call the State of the Youth. It's still in the works. But, I mean, everyone talks about the State of the Union, the State of the City, the State of the State. No one has really dived into what the State of the Youth is after all the Sandy hurricanes and nor'easters going on. So I think it's time for the youth to speak about what's going on with them and how they can change things. So that's what I'm focused on right now.
So are we taking this voice into Barbados and the Caribbean too, or are we going there?
Yeah, I'm with it 100%.
Now, what do you guys think of what Khaair is doing?
I think it's phenomenal for a guy his age. I could pretty well imagine what he would be doing another 10 years from now. It's commendable because lots of times people say the young people don't do this, the young people don't do that. But he's a shining example of a young person who's really got it going on.
And
Thank you.
And what do you think? What do you think, Neesa?
It's powerful. It's powerful. Being a young person myself, I can relate. I can understand from his perspective and how he's looking then to pretty much get young people on the map, so to speak. Because I believe we have a voice, and we need to be heard. And in truth and in fact, we're the future. So in truth, I pretty much can relate to where he's coming from. We need to get them more involved. We need to stop assuming that they have no idea of what's happening. They don't know. They can't contribute. When in retrospect, they're pretty much then the driving force to the community at this point.
Exactly. And so, what are some of the commonalities that you think between Caribbean youth and American youth that's going on right now that we need to look at, Khaair?
I think education is the main thing. You have a lot of the kids from the Caribbean coming over here who are doing better than American kids in American schools. So I think that's one thing American kids can learn from Caribbean kids. And Caribbean kids, I mean, I think, I don't hear it I hear it from kids who just came over here from the Caribbean saying they need to hear a lot more what they can do, getting involved in their community, and take it back over there. So I think that's one thing they can learn from American kids because, I mean, even though people say we don't speak, there's a lot going on and a lot brewing, and we need to make it worldwide.
So the whole thing between, you think is a cultural thing that's going on?
Yeah, I do. So I think it's a year where a lot of people are ready to rise up and do speak.
So with your organization, what are you focusing on in terms of, let's say we wanted to start a chapter in Barbados of Voice and really connect it back to what's going on in New York, what would we do?
I mean, our four main focuses are education, technology, politics, and entrepreneurship. So within all those four things, no matter where you are in Brooklyn or in Barbados, I think those things are the tools you need in order to do anything right now. So as far as the technology, young people need to learn how to use this technology, not just as entertainment. Dr. King has a quote where he says, you need to use technology to empower people, not just as a means of entertainment. So you need to take those things, Facebook, Twitter, social media, Instagram, all this stuff, and hone on it into something and turn it into something that can be useful to develop your own skills. I mean, people these days are starting businesses just on the internet and making millions of dollars. So that's one aspect. As far as the education, we need to be involved in what we're learning. I mean, vocational skills, hands-on stuff where you can get out of college, get out of high school, and get a job with it. Entrepreneurship, there's a lot of people who have ideas for businesses, but they don't know how to start it. So we want to help you start a business or at least get the resources you need to start a business. In politics, I mean, everything these days is revolving around what resources government is dishing out. So we need to be involved in that political conversation on who's getting the resources and who's voting, and making sure we go out and vote so candidates know that they need to really represent us.
But do you think that a lot of the kids find the educational process boring?
I wouldn't say. I guess you can say boring. I mean, a lot of the times these days, classes that you used to take years ago aren't there anymore. I mean, you're taking the math, the science, and stuff like that. But all the music classes, all the interesting classes, and the classes where you learn a practical skill. Not saying that math and science aren't practical. You don't have anymore. So I think we need to incorporate more day-to-day things into our education system so young people stay focused. And I mean, in a New York City classroom, we need more technology in there because everything, people, I have cousins who are 4 years old who know how to use an iPad better than I do. So that's the way things are going. So you need technology in the classroom. You don't need a teacher sitting behind a desk reading a magazine. You need someone who's going to be has just as much stamina as students have.
You said stamina?
I agree with Khaair, because I'm here thinking to myself that because of the level of technology we're at now, there should be no excuse for anyone not learning, not grasping what's out there, not being a part of the society that they're in to better themselves and by extension better the society that they're in.
I agree with
Exactly.
that. I agree with that. What do you think,
Right.
Neesa?
I'm very, very, very impressed. I'm a bit dumbfounded in the same breath because I'm just of the view that empowering persons to become entrepreneurs and Khaair being so young and then seeing that as a vision for the future for our young people is absolutely amazing. It is one thing then to educate all of our young people to tell them, well, you know what, to pretty much elevate into life and to be somebody, you need to sit at a desk, you need to work for somebody, you need to obviously then have a boss. But in actual facts, you can be your own boss, and you can pretty much then be the person that gives the instructions and pretty much then empower other persons to move alongside you and have a whole society then of empowered persons as opposed to then a gap in terms of obviously then the levels that our persons are at. So I'm very, very impressed, and as I said, I'm really speechless at this point with respect to where Khaair is going and where he's looking to take his people with him. It's amazing.
Yeah, Khaair is very cool. We've talked a lot about really connecting with the Caribbean diaspora, all the islands, and really pushing the agenda within and outside the region, because Brooklyn, where he is right now, is the largest concentration of all the Caribbean people. So I think it's important for us, like he's saying, to really focus on the voice of youth. It's interesting that you're on Khaair Voice Radio and your organization is called Voice. I just wanted to make sure that
Exactly. A plug.
So tell us something now in terms of what is going on. What do the kids think about the old paradigm of being in school, getting a good education, and coming out and getting a good job? Where do they stand on that in terms of their response?
I think if you have to break it down from high school students to college students. I mean, high school students used to not care about where they saw themselves. I mean, because they really didn't have to care. I mean, if you got a college degree, you were almost certain to get a job after high school. But now it's at the point where high school students have to focus on getting to an amazing college and trying to get into the job market. I mean, I'm in college myself, and the young people I come across are really focused on what their degree is. I mean, some people want to study liberal arts, but they're changing their degrees because newspapers are saying they're not going to get a job if they're studying liberal arts. They have to study engineering or something practical where they can get a job. And I don't think you should do that. I mean, I think you should be comfortable on what you want to learn and where you want to go, and you just have to start earlier than we used to have to start. So I think that's where young people are right now. It's definitely in all of our minds. Anyone who's in college or anyone who's graduating high school, on the new requirements you have to live up to. I mean, and it's tough for this generation, but I mean, I don't think it's anything we can't handle.
Let me go back to the question of the young people that come from the Caribbean, right? And they perform better. What do they attribute that stands to?
I think it's just the level of focus they have on education when they're in the Caribbean versus when they're here. When they're here, it's more of not a joke, but it's not as until recent times, it's not as serious. People don't take it as seriously, and I mean, even in the Caribbean, their parents help them a lot more. Here, people are working 9 to 5. By the time parents get home, they don't want to go over homework with their fifth grader. They don't have time to go over homework with their fifth grader after they finish cooking dinner and all that stuff. So I think parents in the Caribbean do take education a lot more seriously and have a lot more time sometimes to help their child with the basic things. And I think that when you start that foundation from pre-K and kindergarten, that's where you really need it.
Well, that's pretty interesting. What do you think, Neesa?
It's an analysis that of those shots I hear coming from Khaair. There's a lot of truth to it. What I will say is, I believe the groundword for what we have in the Caribbean that's a little different to what you experience in, as I said, in the United States and obviously across that borderline, is that we are more disciplined in the Caribbean. And I would say discipline because as much as when you're growing up, you learn how to use knife and fork. You're told then that when you sit at the table, obviously then, you eat first and then you drink after. There's certain table etiquette that you learn. I find that becomes like a next door thing to us when you're growing up. We're parents obviously entrust in you that you need to learn. You need to go to school. You need to get an education, and that is a driving force that they actually pretty much go behind you. The only problem I do find sometimes in the Caribbean is and I heard Khaair would have mentioned that in his statement prior to this, that it's about a skill. It is not always about you going to the university and you getting a degree and such like. I do not believe in that. I personally believe that children should be allowed to develop their natural skills.
Yes.
Their natural love for whatever. It could be, you could see in a child when they're growing up, you can see where their passions lie, and sometimes you need to just tap into that a bit and kind of try to ascertain from them pretty much, why are you so mesmerized by putting beads on a thread? What really brings that to you to make you want to do it? And they become jewelry makers in the future, and they can pretty much be entrepreneurs. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be, let's go to university, let's go to college, let's get a degree. It's going to become it's going to be saturated after a point, and then we can't pay all of our young people. So we need to have them venture off into different areas and find their passions. And I find that's what they don't do. They don't find their passions. They do what the parents want them to do. We learn what parents want to learn.
What happens is that certain vocations are looked down on. People tend to believe that if you're not a doctor or a lawyer, one of those high-profile, I would say, professions, that you're not really with the in crowd, let me say. So people grow up telling their children, you must be a lawyer, you must be a doctor, you must be this, you must be that. Not realizing, not thinking, not even stopping to ask the child, what do you really want to become?
Yes.
So many children grow up thinking or believing or understanding from their parents that there must be this or must be that, and not necessarily what they really want to do from the heart.
Wow.
I like that. Go ahead.
Even if you think on a spiritual sense, I mean, you live all your life doing something you don't want to do. I mean, that's not a life worth living. So if someone seriously wants to be a cook, they should be a cook. You can build on that. I mean, there's always someone who's going to need food. So I think it says something when someone goes on to the path they want to do, instead of going on a path just for money reasons.
Very interesting.
Right.
Very interesting. Now, your organization is really powerful. The Voice of Youth Changes Everything, Inc., a nonprofit. Are you 501c3 yet?
Yes, we are, finally.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mission is to empower youth to positively impact the social state of their communities. You say I love technology. I just pulled you up on Facebook, so it's not like I know what I'm talking about.
I was about to say, I don't even memorize it.
You have it memorized?
Not yet.
Not yet. So I'm getting my practice on. But we are finally in the zone, and that's what this magazine really is about, because the medium of Khaair Voice Radio is really about presenting an opportunity for knowledge and collaboration, and there's a strong call for it. Now, one of the things that I did in the last couple of days was really to listen to what students are talking about and how they are taking the education and really making it theirs. So in the sense, what we're doing is we are actually now, in terms of students, and in terms of what you're doing, really waiting to see what the young people will produce that we can buy. And that we can develop that and nourish that as a part of their educational process. Because, you know, like when my daughter was having problems in school, I told her, here's a pizza pie, and I broke down math in terms of what a pizza represents, in terms of, you know, cutting it up and so on. And she took it from there and really did really well that semester, as far as that's concerned. So I think what I feel that needs to happen more in terms of the practicality of education is to kind of merge a lot of practicality with what's going on inside the classroom. And just really listening to you talk about the cultural differences and the vision and the push that young people coming out of the region have in terms of the educational piece, I think that's really, really strong. And really needs to be nourished. Now, you have challenged a lot of different situations in New York City because you are Khaair. And now you've pretty much hung out with the governor. Did you you opened up for the president and joined the election campaign at one of the events in Brooklyn? So
yeah, I worked at one of the events in Brooklyn.
Yeah, tell us what drives you for what you're doing. What's your driving force? And if you tell me your mom, I'll understand, because I know I know how she is.
I think it's really I'm 100% focused on my future, and along the way, I think if you can help someone, you have to do that. And spiritually, I believe that. I mean, I was put on this earth to change lives, and if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing anything. And I myself, I've been through different things where I said I wanted to be this at one point, I wanted to be that, a lawyer, a doctor, all the normal stuff. But I think I've gotten to a point in my life where I realized that if I'm not doing it, who else is going to do it? Because a lot of people, I realize, and people say this about my generation, but it could be said about every generation. Everyone talks about doing something. Everyone always says, I want to do this, I want to do that, but no one actually does it. And I got to a point where I'm just tired of people not doing what they say they're going to do. So if you're going to do something, commit to it and do it. And I think that's what drives me the most.
Wow. Neesa.
Wow.
Go for it. I know you got something to say.
I'm starting to believe that Khaair clearly is my brother, then, as they like to say, from another mother.
Yes.
I have so much in common that is overwhelming, and obviously Mom isn't alive now to ask her some questions, but I'm sure that I might need to probably ask my dad if he can help me out. I'm serious. I could so I can so relate to what Khaair is saying. It's disappointing in one breath, but it's somewhat as a gift in another breath, because it's a gift then to propel you forward. It's the gift of persons not doing what they say they will do that then entice you to do what you say you're going to do. So it's somewhat, it breaks you and helps you in the same breath. It's about life. Life brings life and experiences makes you who you are. And as I tell persons, it's fine to grow up with the gold spoon in your mouth. It's fine to grow up with, obviously then with the house on the prairie with the white picket fence and stuff like that. But it's only when you hit the ground, or you actually grow up in a situation where you didn't have it all and you had to make something of yourself. You have appreciation for life. You have something to offer that's rare, because everybody don't see it that way. And life, to me, is what makes you. It builds your character. It makes you who you are in the long run. So I am pretty much thankful for my life. I'm thankful for actually the stuff I've been through. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy road. It's been pretty rocky, but the end result is always better because you're well-rounded. You're pretty much an individual that knows the highs and the lows of life, and you have more to offer in the long run. So it works out.
Okay, wow.
It does.
I like that brother from another mother.
I'm telling you.
And I said, let me see what's going to happen here now, because I know you both are focused and driven.
Yeah.
And I expect huge things from both of you. I think I see a New York collab coming up.
Then maybe. I'm ready.
Yeah,
He's ready. All we need is Krosfyah in the mix.
That's right. You're good to go.
You know.
Exactly.
So,
but it's seriously, like when people like Lisa and I, we share the same vision, and it's people like that who, I mean, keep you going. I mean, when you meet someone doing something else, that's what you. When I hang up this phone, I'm probably gonna. I'm still thinking about, oh, that person's doing that. I mean, that inspires you to keep doing and keep doing more.
Yes.
Now, would you fly to Barbados and talk to the youth of Barbados? Have a special youth day?
I would love to go to Barbados and talk to you.
Yeah.
I think that would be a life-changing experience.
A dream builders day for youth coming out of Barbados. How's that? Does that make sense, Neesa?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I'm saying then that we can invite Khaair down, and then I can probably go up. I mean, we really can have some merging happening and pretty much close the gap. We need to close the gap because
we need to close it. Go ahead.
we're on the same path. We have the same vision, and we have the same drive. And I believe that I've heard persons across the board make the statement that we've lost a whole generation. I do not believe that. I believe that our generation is just misguided, and they're just lost their way a bit, but they can be found. We have persons that commit their life to Jesus Christ after 40 years of going astray. They find their way back. So you can find your way back. You cannot give up on the youth. That is the first and foremost point. We cannot give up on the youth. We cannot allow them to believe that there's no one there, that we are perfect, because we too would have gone astray when we were young. We don't like to admit it to our young persons, but we need to let them know. We need to own up to what we've done when we were younger. Even as parents, we need to sit with our kids and tell them, I did this and I did that. It's not a case of the child losing respect for you. Furthermore, they will gain more respect for you because they look at you then as a strong individual. They can see then where your scars and your blood and your sweat and your tears come from. They can see in you is not a case then of the riches and the goals, but they can see you as a person with character and a person that has defeated all odds. So it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing when we try to help the youth, and there are ways we can help them. We need to allow them to know, I have been there, I have done that, and this is where I am today, and you too can follow in my footsteps. I strongly believe that.
Exactly.
This is powerful because what you were saying is absolutely true. And I believe it because, you know, we don't really pay attention to what's going on around us in so many ways. One example is that our kids really don't know us.
No, they don't.
They don't know us.
They don't.
What they know is that we are their parents and we're supposed to do this and we're supposed to do that. And in between work, sometimes you don't really get a chance to do all the stuff because you're chasing the money, you're chasing the vision, you're chasing the dream, you're thinking about what's good for them in the future. You forget about yourself, and everything gets all in the frustrated mood. We forget we are people and that we need to huddle every now and then, which is kind of good with what Khaair is doing because he's huddling with a bunch of youth and doing some serious introspection. And the fact that he's got education and he's got the whole four things covered: technology, politics, and what's the other one, Khaair?
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. That is huge.
You call that a mixed bag.
That's a serious. That's a seriously mixed bag. And I agree with Neesa because you can hear the hope in the music with the young people, and you can hear the hope in the music that they gravitate towards in a lot of the young people, right? And from my perspective, I get a lot of young people that want to be in the music business because they feel that's where the money is, that's where the future is. They want to be into sports because they feel that's where the money is and that's all that there is. But, I mean, there's a lot more, but the one thing that we have to really appreciate is that they still have that hope. While it might be silenced by chaos, it's still alive, and I agree with that. So, I mean, I'm liking this. I'm liking this for the next 90 days. You know? and 52 weeks a year, if we have things in spurts. I just looked at my first 21 days, and I've been saying to Khaair, where are you? Okay, I'm in Paris, I'm in Italy, and I said, well, when are you coming home? You know, he'll send me a picture with him. The last picture he sent, I was really nervous because it was in the midair, and I said, did you land yet? But it just shows the tenacity and the capability that he has within him, that we can really bring some collaboration and some strength to the entire global community. Because the 6 degrees of separation that really holds us apart is right here in our face. So going forward, let me stop and look at what voice means and where is it going. What kind of programs do you have outlined for the next say 90 days? Do you have anything in mind that's finalized or that will be coming up that we should know about and be able to promote for you?
Yes, one thing we're trying to do right now, we're just getting all the public libraries on board. We have a program called Mind Your Business, where we're trying to give steps on how you can start a business. And also, I just talked to someone last night. I had a conference call. A principal at W.E.B. Du Bois High School is trying to start something with some students over there. So we're about to go over there and help out. And that's all we have right now. But we're just planning a lot, getting all of our ideas together, getting a lot of people at the table with different ideas to see how best we can help youth. I'm a youth myself, but I don't know everything about young people. So we need to bring more young people to the table to tell us what they're interested in and what they need, what are their needs, and what resources can we give them. So that's what we're focused on now.
I think a forum where you have the youth from every corner of the globe would be fantastic, because then that would be a merger of minds.
That'd be amazing.
I'm sure you would find that somebody from the north is thinking something similar or very close to somebody in the south, and you'd be amazed to see that they have the same focus, they have the same mindset. It's just that they may have a different dialect or a different town, but in essence, they all think the same way, and that's where the collaboration begins.
It does. I got to.
Go ahead.
I remember last time I came on, I just came back from London, and I mean, the young people over there are talking about the same stuff we're talking about over here in the States. So if you brought a table together of young people to really just talk about the issues, I'm sure we'll all have a lot of the same opinions, and we grew up in different places, so we'll have unique approaches to changing a lot of the stuff going on today.
You know, this is so powerful, because what I'm hearing is that people looking to do business are always looking for distribution models, and I'm very familiar with what you're talking about in terms of the library, because actually the library was on last night. Let's see, we had Maud Andrew Quintana, who's the manager of programs and outreach at the Brooklyn Public Library, on with Jill and with Nidhi Jalan, who actually their Power Up Entrepreneur program on how to write your business plan and so on. She won $15,000 to launch her business, and yeah, so that was kind of cool. And she's from India. And
oh wow!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And curry, spice curry, and so on. But one of the things that you look at that's problematic is that, like for example, in Barbados, you have a lot of young people that have, and it's not just Barbados; it's the rest of the region. I'd say Barbados because that's my home. But see how soft I said that, like I'm an actor. But that's where I'm from, and there was a young girl. She was 15 years old. That I met her about 2 or 3 years ago at one of the trade shows in Barbados, and she had the nicest stuff she was made from wire, like different types of jewelry and different things like that. And when I looked at it, I said this would look so good in the mall in Atlanta, because I had just passed the mall in Atlanta that I went in, and then I saw some different stuff going on, and that really reminded me before I flew to Barbados. And I said, man, this is awesome stuff. But now you have a guy in New York that might be looking for to distribute something that somebody in the Caribbean region wants.
That's right.
Or India,
Exactly.
or someplace like that. So that intermingling and that shipping, cargo solutions.
I think a trade show.
A voice trade show kind of deal.
Or something.
Yeah, that'd be something I'm into.
Yeah, where the goal is you know what? The goal should be you have a meeting, you have those folks come together, you have the dignitaries come and do what they do in the morning, but the people that are coming in, at the end of the day, the goal is to at least have a few businesses that have already seen the model that they can work with each other, and that collaboration is starting to come together where the practicality of moving merchandise and services is possible, so that now they have an outlet to ready to move, so that when they walk away, the excitement of achievement can now be passed on in terms of the knowledge to other people, know that, hey, this is what came out of that.
Yeah.
And things can happen in a real way, and then I can go up in the plane with Khaair, because I would feel like I've done something successfully enough to jump out. But so how does that sound?
It sounds great. I think it's a great idea, and I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. But I mean, it takes the right people, and I think we're the right people to get it done.
Yeah, exactly, the right people. So your team that you have in New York, are they an intermixing of cultures, and or are they just all American? What's going on with that?
So far, it's all American. I mean, if I could get other people interested who are from overseas. I mean, I have a friend overseas who I've talked to also about possibly doing a branch in London. I got some friends in Greece. They need something in Greece. I mean, because right now it's not looking good for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm just really trying to bring everybody to the table, especially people of different cultures. So we're still looking and we're still building our team.
Neesa, do you know anybody that in Barbados besides you that reminds you of Khaair?
Yes, actually, we have a good number of youth groups down here with persons, obviously, then with some prospect of what they project the youth to be in the next 10, 15 years. Mm-hmm. That has pretty much the same drive as Khaair and the same appreciation for the youth and such like. So I'm sure we can engage. We can actually then pretty much put a barrier then to just join forces then and make sure that we can get the gap bridged. I mean, it's pretty easy to get that done from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Khaair, you just formed the Barbados Alliance for Voice.
Okay.
Isn't that kind of cool?
It is.
Because it's like you know what really pushed me mentally about what you said is about people being sick and tired of people saying they're going to do something and not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the beauty of what you are doing is let's get her done kind of deal, where you say we're going to go in and we're going to work hard, that southern kind of mentality. Let's get together and let's just do it. You know,
yeah.
It's about achievement, and I know you have a template for how things will move in terms of organizationally, but in terms of practicality, if somebody calls you up and says, I'm ready to start a branch, what are the 1, 2, 3s? Do you have that yet?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm all for organization and structure, but I mean, if someone comes to you with an opportunity, I think someone comes to you with an opportunity, and you need to just take it, especially if it's a good one like that.
So Neesa, are you taking on the responsibility of working towards getting voice up in Barbados and heading up to New York and doing some stuff?
That's something that can happen. And as we specified earlier, technology needs to be, technology is an integral role right now in obviously then bridging the gaps. Is pretty much our means of getting our message across the waters, so to speak, and reaching then youth from all walks of life. So we use that as the first initiative. We pretty much then we use, as he said, the Facebooks and the Twitters and the BBMs, and we use whatever means of technology that's pretty much up and coming at this point to get the message across the border lines, and then pretty much extending it out into the homes and on the iPads and everything that everybody uses, the iPhones, everything. Just pretty much get your message on whatever the youth is using as a means of technology, and just have it in their face. When it's in their face, they pretty much then gravitate towards it because it's there and it's going to be noticed. So that's pretty much the method we need to use at this point.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say to the young people who are entrepreneurs, grab your gear. I know it sounds like Gibbs on NCIS. Actually, it does. but we got a dream. We don't, usually he'll say we have a body, but we have a dream. And we have a commodity. And this being February, Black History Month, I don't want to get away from that.
No better time to start.
Right? What better
That's
time
right.
to push it? What better
Exactly.
time than to push it? Now, one of the things that the president is always saying, right, and what I like about him is that he just gets down and personal, taking the mystique out of the process of me. He rarely recognized that I'm the head servant, but I know my responsibility, so I'm going to work it. And I'm not Democrat, and I'm not a Republican. So this is about a community getting over those ideologies and really working about caring about rendering their very best. That's where my head is at. So in saying that, I know a lot of people have ideas, and what Khaair is trying to do is the second thing that you need to do when you have a business is build an environment around it, and that means people and resources and opportunities and that kind of good stuff. Now we got a little thing going on in the Bronx ourselves, so I know what I'm saying. And the beauty of this is that for those who have been looking at their idea, and for those who were ready to go but had no transportation, I feel like this is a good opportunity for them to get a transportation. And on the Khaair side, with the people in his group, just like we were talking about, the folks that want to find distribution, we just gotta mesh the opportunities and the logistics and make it happen. So I'm thinking of this in that we'll have Khaair back on in 21 days, and we will look at this as building the voice. 21 days, even if it's a musician, because here's what I'm thinking. This whole program this trade show should be something that we can do maybe in the summer for Caribbean Heritage Month kind of thing, and have that's June, and really have all the entrepreneurs that have that enough time. I don't know if that makes sense, but have enough time to really get themselves together to get ready to really take advantage of this opportunity to really move their dream and their vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Right, and I know that Neesa is ready. She's airborne.
One point that I would definitely make to the youth and to the upcoming entrepreneurs, the youth that are already entrepreneurs in their right, is pretty much that we have our highs and we have our lows, and I think we can appreciate the fact that you can have downfalls as well. As an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur, I think one of the main problems I see with them, and as we observe them and stuff, is pretty much becoming complacent and having this mentality that we're young forever.
Mm-hmm.
So we have forever to make mistakes. We have forever to correct them. I have a gift, and it doesn't matter who says what. So then sometimes we get some arrogance step in. We get a case where some selfishness steps in, and it can break you and break your business. So I think even as an entrepreneur, you need to maintain not only a level of professionalism, but you need to also maintain an open mind to your surroundings and change with the times as they go along. And pretty much understand that you're not a one-man show. No man is an island. It's a case where you need persons around you. You need to have guidance. You need to make sure that your business is intact. You have all your I's dot and your T's crossed, as we like to say. and make sure you have everything in line. You pay your taxes. You have, because it's not just being an entrepreneur for the sake of it, of saying I'm an entrepreneur. It's a case of make sure you have everything in order going forward. And then when your business is established and as you become grounded, there's no case then of anybody, you know, obviously then you have to pay back taxes and this thing or whatever. You need to have everything in line. So I figure as the youth, we have a case where we have persons that are highly educated. They then can go in their own rights and become accountants. So the young person as an accountant need to then feed the information to the young person that wants to make jewelry and allow them to know this is how you plan your business. Give them a plan. So we keep a holistic approach, and we have a network of young people working together. So it's not just that you go off and be an entrepreneur on your own. It's a case where you feed that information onto another upcoming entrepreneur, and then the person then that obviously is an accountant and whoever goes off and be a lawyer offer the young person that is an entrepreneur some ideas of this is what you do when you employ persons, this is human rights, this is what happens, this is what don't happen. So we have to have a network of persons for all walks of life, entrepreneurs and obviously persons working for somebody. It doesn't really matter, but then young persons have to feed information to one another. So that's what we have. We obviously then embody a strong force going forward, and that's pretty much the vision I have for us as young people.
I think a mentorship program would really cement all of this. Then the youth would have somebody to look up to in their specific area. If you're an attorney, you deal with the young ones who want to be attorneys, etc. And basically what it means is that they would understand that they're dealing with somebody who's been there, who's done that, and they can respect that person and understand that they need to follow steps in order to get where they're going, etc. And you can't go anywhere else but up.
Correct.
I love it. I love it. That's some serious stuff. Khaair.
Yeah.
Are you glad you came on the show?
What did you say?
Are you glad you came on the show?
I am. I mean, all the ideas that are flowing through my head right now, and just a good conversation with people who are focused on the same thing and have the same vision as you. I mean, it's good to just sit down for a second and have a conversation. And I think you guys cherish those conversations with other people who have ambition. Ambitious people need other ambitious people around them.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you something, right? You see, them is two Bajan women, right? And them will show up in your dream if you don't follow through here. You half asleep, you're like, Khaair, what happened there? So, give any last words for this segment?
Just all the young people listening, or anyone I know who's listening, just keep on going and keep on moving forward.
Yeah. And Neesa?
Pretty much just to all the listeners well, I guess you can identify that the majority of the conversation kind of surrounded young people, but it is by no means excluding anyone. If you have a dream, this is just simply to let you know it can be possible. There's no stopping you. You're never too old. You're never too young to get a start or to pretty much then follow through on your dreams. And it just takes, as I said, for a network of persons to pretty much stick together and just propel themselves forward. That's pretty much it.
I love it. Yvette?
Yeah, I think this is the beginning of Voice Worldwide. I don't know if you have another title, another synonym for it, but I think this is the beginning of Youth Worldwide, and as we move forward, I would like to see some progress in the area of all the discussion we had here tonight. Not only to show that we are serious about what we're doing, but to assist those, mentor those young people who really need direction, who feel they're going astray, but not knowing how to come back.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I can talk for the guys at Caribbean Webcast and so on, as far as what they're doing with the technology piece and the business development piece, which includes filmmaking and just educational material kind of stuff. So I think that you've just landed on a hotbed of success in terms of support. And
thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Sometimes you really need that. So I want to thank you for dropping by. I know you had to take a New York City cab. I don't know if they charged you the new rate or you just told them I'm Khaair and they said, okay, it's for free.
Yeah, right. Never the cab driver. They always charge.
Yeah, but I thank you very much for what you're doing. And if you need to have an hour for radio, we'll donate an hour so you can share it with your audience just on voice, whatever you want to do with that hour to broadcast, because that's part of your technology piece. And these ladies are going to be following you, and you can do the friend thing on Facebook.
Definitely.
Doing it now.
And Neesa is extremely serious about coming up and doing some stuff with you. And you're going down to Barbados, so that's a done deal.
Definitely.
We're just waiting for the next 24 hours, and then we'll tell you about what we're going to do. There's a lot of strange things keep happening. But I want to thank you again and say hi to your peeps. I know you have a huge following of young people that are really listening to you and so on. I'm waiting. We're going to have a very special surprise guest coming up on Khaair Voice Radio. I'll let you know who that is in a couple of weeks. Actually, in a couple of days. And I know that everybody in New York is going to rush to try to listen. So, Neesa, thank you very much. You did a great job your first time out.
Thank
Yes,
you
you did.
So
Welcome again.
you are welcome
Thank
to be
you.
you are welcome to be my co-host on In the Zone anytime, any day.
Wonderful.
Right.
Thank you so much, Aubrey.
Okay, and Yvette already, she's a troublemaker. Khaair Voice Radio for so many different shows, so you just never know what she's gonna be doing, right? So we there's a passion in here, so I'm gonna leave this show and I'm gonna play this song. You know, the thing is calling me, the passion. because I'm feeling real good. So thank you guys very much for taking the time to spend this hour with me, and also to be a part of the In the Zone magazine, which actually is a magazine online, and we hopefully in the next 48 hours it's going to go live for that version, and people could of course request a printed copy, but we keep it online so that you can go and read up on what's happening. You know, this interview part of that's going to be in there, and articles and stuff, right? And Yvette's going to have gluten-free cupcakes for everybody next time.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much. Okay.
I think